Welcome to the Engineer Your Success podcast. My name is Dr. James Bryant, your host for the show, and I hope that you are doing well. This podcast is designed to help you win at work and at home. I really do hope you're having a great week. Today, we have a really exciting episode. We're going to continue our discussion on the 80/20 principle. So, last week, we had episode 108, Maximize Success, Unleash the Power of the 80/20 principle. We primarily focus just on how the 20% of your actions can lead to 80% of your positive results. If you missed that episode, I highly recommend that you go back and give it a listen. That episode included some key questions to help you apply the 80/20 principle both in business and in life. Before we get into today's episode, though, I do want to give you a personal invitation to the Engineer Your Success on-ramp. That's right, the on-ramp is back. We are going to have our next Engineer Your Success on-ramp on September the 19th from 12 noon to 1, and that is Eastern Time, September 19th. And we're going to talk about something that I keep getting requests to talk about, and that's, James, how do we master delegation? So this on-ramp is going to be mastering delegation, empowering leaders for success. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with your workload or you're struggling to keep up with the demands of your business, join us for this on-ramp session. You will not regret it. Listen, you want to learn how to lighten your load, streamline your task, and empower your team for greater efficiency and success. Come to the next Engineer Your Success on-ramp and supercharge your leadership through delegation. Again, that is Tuesday, September 19th from noon to 1 p.m. The registration link is in the show notes. All right, thank you. Today's episode, let's really dive in eliminating pain. That's right. We're talking about the troublesome 20%. So we've talked about the powerful 20% that leads to 80% of our success or 80% of our growth. But what about the other side of that coin? What about the 20% that seems to cause 80% of our problems? Whether it's in our personal lives or professional lives, some people are driven by gain, and others, the elimination of pain. So today we're going to focus on eliminating pain. The key questions really for this episode is, what are the 20% of activities that are causing 80% of the issues that you face in life, in business, or your career? What are those activities or habits that often tend to drain your energy and rob you of your joy? Right? What are those things? When applying the 80/20 principle in this way, we want to identify what we're going to call the troublesome 20%. So this represents a small portion of the actions or habits, yet they're responsible for a significant chunk of our pain. Think about it and apply it to your personal and professional life. What are some of the personal issues that may come up? Hey, listen, you may have a procrastination habit, whether you admit it or not. Whether it's pushing off your workout, delaying starting a diet, or postponing a project. These habits can really lead to unfinished goals, decreased motivation, the accumulation of all of these undone tasks. It could be, look, you can have an issue with overconsumption of junk food. While it might be a small portion of one's diet, that could really cause weight gain, health issues, lower energy levels. If you think about social media overuse, so spending excessive time scrolling through social media, that might lead to just be a time waster for you. So wasted time, feelings of inadequacy, sleep deprivation, if this activity is happening late at night, and avoiding difficult conversations is another one, because you're dodging confrontational or challenging discussions, and that can result in strained relationship, unresolved issues, and pent up emotions. So in each of these cases, these small habits can have a big impact on your overall well-being, can have a big impact on the results or the life that you really want to live. So if we look at it from a professional perspective, because this podcast is designed to help you to have success both personally and professionally. So what about if you're avoiding regular check-ins with your team? So not having consistent meetings or feedback sessions, those things can lead to miscommunication, a team disconnect, project inefficiencies. Another one is failing to set clear expectations. So if the roles or goals are unclear, that can result in decreased productivity, increased employee dissatisfaction, poor project outcomes. Here's another one: not addressing a negative workplace culture. So, overlooking issues like office politics or promoting a positive work environment can lead to high employee turnover, low morale, and decreased overall productivity. We have all been there, feeling like we're stuck in quicksand with every effort to move forward seeming to be pulling us deeper into the mire. That's the essence of this troublesome 20%. It might seem insignificant, but its impact can be profound. So, the purpose of this episode really is to help shine a light on these areas where the 20% is wreaking havoc on our lives. So, this is no judgment zone. So, the intent is to increase your level of awareness so that you can take charge and eliminate those things that are holding you back from the life that you want, from the business that you want. So we're going to help you eliminate pain, PAIN. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a few. When we look at identifying the troublesome 20% in our daily lives, it can manifest in various ways. Often it's discrete. So, recognizing these elements really is the first significant step towards mitigating their impacts. So, let's explore how we can be more aware of them. So, what are some of the potential culprits? I would say number one, bad habits. I mentioned some a little bit earlier, but we all have them. At least I know I have them. But do we always recognize them as being bad? Maybe you do. Um, Maybe you don't. I'm not going to judge that for you, but you have to ask yourself those questions and have that mirror moment to see, are the habits that you have, are they helping you reach your goal, or are they hindering you? So maybe it's something like hitting the snooze button repeatedly. So you're setting off your day to a late start, or perhaps it's the habit of mindlessly scrolling on social media that are eating into the hours of your day. It could be that after dinner sugar craving that really leads to unnecessary calorie consumption, and then just the time wasters, engaging in activities that don't add any value or purpose to our day. Whether it's watching TV shows we're not really interested in, you get to the point where, are you watching TV or is the TV watching you just because the television is on? Another area to look at are your relationships, specifically those negative relationships, being around energy draining individuals who don't support or uplift us, entertaining, people that are just continuing to have conversations that are not productive. They're just not productive. They're conversations about things that don't mean anything. And you really want to start focusing on how can you move forward. So when reflecting on your personal pains or those areas that are often kind of a thorn in your side, right? It's often said that introspection is a window into our reality. So let's tap into that. So think about the last time that you truly felt drained. Was there a pattern leading to that? Are there recurring activities or engagements that always leave you feeling less than optimal? That's absolutely something to think about, those activities, how those activities make you feel. And maybe you don't know what those things are. You have a sense that something may be going on, but you don't know. Well, there you can think about some tools and strategies that can help you really pinpoint these things. And one is daily journal. So consider keeping a diary of your day, listing down activities and rating your energy or mood afterwards. Over time, you'll be able to spot patterns and understand which activities are consistently linked to that negativity. You can begin to discuss these issues with a trusted friend, mentor, or coach. Sometimes we're too close to a situation to see it objectively. So, a fresh pair of eyes, especially those of someone who knows and understands you, they can often highlight areas of concern that you might have missed. You could also work through a personal SWOT analysis. And so that's looking at your strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats. And that could be to your well being, to your career, to your business. But this can give you a really clear picture of where you're losing energy or where you're that 20% of activity is really causing 80% of that negative result. But by recognizing and acknowledging these areas, you're really setting a foundation for action and actionable change. Remember, it's not about blaming yourself, it's about empowering yourself to create the life of more joy, efficiency, and fulfillment. So if we take that same approach, looking at our professional lives, so we pivot from our personal lives, we're going to look at our professional world, and you can also find that that troublesome 20% can be just as pervasive. So in the professional space, it has its own set of challenges that may be holding us back from peak efficiency and satisfaction. But recognizing those drains, one thing that you can do is start by taking stock. Again, a lot of it has to do with measurement, identifying these areas, tracking these areas, and measuring these areas. So, have you ever found yourself sinking time and energy into a project that just doesn't yield results, or even worse, goes against the core values of your business? Right. If that's the issue, you may need to investigate that. What about those high maintenance clients? We've all had them, the ones that take up to 80% of our time, but contribute much less to our bottom line or professional satisfaction. Another area where this troublesome 20 may be or is the task that really aren't in your wheelhouse. It might be the administrative duties when you are really a creative at heart, or vice versa. So these things can quickly become energy drainers. So I want you to ask yourself this: what's eating up my time and energy and resources without giving back in value? So what's draining your resources and not replacing it, not providing value? So when you think about some tools or techniques to start looking at what's going on professionally, again, you're looking at introspection, but you're also looking for those data driven insights. So one way that you can do that is getting some open feedback from your team. So open a channel for honest feedback with your team, especially those that are on the ground. Often they have a pulse of the inefficiencies that you might miss. So I want to emphasize the importance of having a diverse team so that you can get multiple perspectives on issues that you're facing. Another one, and this to me is a huge one, and that's data and data analysis. Dive into those metrics. Which tasks or clients take up a disproportionate amount of time relative to their returns? It is hard to improve what you don't measure. So it's very important that you measure the input as well as the outcomes or the outputs. And this is how you can identify those areas that need improvement. You can also look to consult your mentors and peers by bouncing ideals and challenges off those in similar positions. That can give you a fresh perspective. They might have even faced or overcome similar challenges. And this also is an area where having an executive coach like myself can help you as well. You see, it's not just about identifying tasks or clients that are resource intensive. It's about recognizing where you might be losing passion, feeling drained, or simply not delivering your best due to misaligned priorities. Remember, awareness is the first step in making positive changes. So, when I think about strategies for eliminating or mitigating this troublesome 20%, I think about this whole ideal of eliminating pain. So addressing this is about recognition, it's about crafting a proactive plan. So here's a strategic framework, right? And we're going to call this our pain strategy. And so P stands for prioritize. And so you're identifying crucial elements. So this is the first step we need to do in order to spot that troublesome 20% that's causing most of our discomfort in our professional or personal journey. Is it a demanding client? Is it an inefficient process? be able to identify and nail down those culprits. Number two, the A is analyze, understand those root causes. So you want to dive deeper into what's behind these pain points. Is it a lack of resources, a lack of training, or perhaps just miscommunication? Understanding the why through that analysis is really half the battle. Three is isolate. That I is isolate. You isolate. So you're zooming in on that core issue or those core issues. Once you've pinpointed the root causes, then it's time to segregate and directly address these challenges. Handling them individually allows for tailored solutions. Number four, which is the end, is neutralize, minimizing negative impact. So, with a clear understanding, initiate actions to either eliminate or significantly reduce the negative impact or influence on your workflow. So, think about that, this pain strategy. Uh, you can use this as a foundation into some specific tactics, such as delegation. That's going to be the topic of the next Engineer Your Success On Ramp on September the 19th. But delegation really is the beauty of teamwork and the varied strengths that each member brings. If certain tasks aren't playing to your strengths, is there someone on your team that's better suited for that? Number two, training. The right tools can turn a mountain into a molehill. Invest in continuous learning, both for yourself and for your team. Remember that knowledge is power. You can start looking at negotiation of boundaries because that's crucial. So, if challenging clients or projects, is there middle ground? Communication can turn challenging relationships into collaborative ones. And then you want to look at elimination. So, elimination is about making the hard choices. If something isn't serving your growth, it may be time for you to let it go. But focus is key. Tackling the troublesome 20% is about the mix of strategic thinking and action. With each step, we're not just resolving issues, but paving the path for a more streamlined, efficient, and fulfilling professional and personal journey. So, as we wind down today's deep dive into the troublesome 20%, I want to leave you with a few parting reflections to carry you forward. Look, two sides of the same coin. The 80/20 principle isn't just about amplifying success, but also about alleviating pain. Our journey of progress involves both acceleration and mitigation. So while it's vital to harness the 20% driving 80% of our results, it's equally imperative to confront the 20% that's causing 80% of our challenges. Another thing I would say would be self awareness. There's really power there. The first step in solving any problem is recognizing that there is a problem. So take a pause, assess, and reflect, and use these questions to begin to zero in on that troublesome 20% and then address them with the pain strategy. And remember the pain strategy, right? Prioritize, analyze, isolate, and neutralize. This framework is really designed to help you not only identify, but also tackle those persistent hurdles in your personal and professional life. Growth through elimination. Sometimes growth isn't just about adding, it's about subtracting. So, by addressing our challenges head on, we pave the way for a clearer, more focused path to success and well being. And I would say that this last one about continuous evolution or continuous improvement, the troublesome 20% is not static. So, as we evolve, as our professional landscape shifts, so will all of these challenges. So, it's essential to revisit and reassess periodically. um, it's essential, this whole continuous improvement process. So I want to encourage you to not only be inspired by today's discussion, but I want you to also take some action. So embrace the challenges and confront them. I want you to chart your path to a more balanced, fulfilling journey in both work and in life. Remember, the 80/20 principle is just a tool. The true power lies within how we wield it. I want to thank you for joining me today on this episode of Engineer Your Success. Don't forget to share your 80/20 stories with us. Stay curious, stay inspired, and as always, continue to engineer your success. And I'm going to end this podcast like I end every podcast, and that's this. Many people know what to do, fewer people know how to do it. And there's a select group of people that actually follow through, do it, and are achieving the life of their dreams, that are achieving the business or career of their dreams. And it is my desire for you to be part of that select few. My name is Dr. James Bryant, your guide for winning at work and at home. And I want you to be great this week.